Good morning and welcome to the Daily Light Devotion. I hope all of you have had a wonderful Sunday and looking forward to today. That is the 13th of April. Today we're going to look at the 1st Samuel chapter 13 and 14 and Luke chapter 14 verses 1 to 24. The theme for the Old Testament is obedience, faith, and trusting God over fear. In chapter 13 and 14, we see two contrasting responses to pressure. King Saul acts in fear and impatience, and Jonathan acts in faith and boldness. These chapters reveal a powerful truth. When we face pressure, we either trust God or take matters in our own hands. And this passage points us to Jesus. These passages point us to Jesus, who perfectly trusted and obeyed the Father. Saul is in 1 Samuel chapter 13. Saul is waiting for the prophet Samuel to offer a sacrifice before the battle, but the army is scattering, the enemy is approaching, and fear is rising. Instead of waiting for God's timing, Saul takes control and offers sacrifice himself, something he was not allowed to do. As soon as he finishes, Samuel arrives. Saul excuses, I felt compelled, I was afraid. Because of this disobedience, God rejects Saul's kingship. Where Saul failed in obedience, Jesus succeeded. Saul acted in fear, Jesus acted in perfect trust. Even under pressure, Jesus always obeyed the Father. Partial obedience is still disobedience. Fear should never lead us to override God's instructions. 1 Samuel chapter 14, Jonathan, Saul's son, takes completely a different approach. Without fear, he says, nothing can hinder the Lord from saving, whether by many or by few. He steps out in faith and attacks the enemy with just his armor bearer. God responds, the enemy is thrown into confusion, victory spreads across the battlefield. Meanwhile, Saul makes a foolish vow that weakens his army. This shows the contrast. Saul leads with fear and control. Jonathan walks in faith and dependence on God. Jonathan reflects the picture of Christ-like faith, trusting God fully, acted with boldness, bringing victory through dependence on God. Jesus stepped forward in faith, trusting the Father completely, even to the cross. Faith invites God's power. One person trusting God can change everything. So fear, what are some of the key takeaways? Fear leads to wrong decisions. When we don't trust God, God values obedience more than outward action. And faith is not about numbers, it's about trust in God. One act of faith can bring great victory. Moving over to the New Testament, Luke chapter 14, verses 1 to 24, the theme is humility, compassion, and responding to God's invitation. In these verses, Jesus is teaching at the dinner table, but his message goes far beyond the meal. He challenges pride, social status, excuses that keep promises from God, excuses that keep people from God, and the focus is clear. God is inviting us into his kingdom, but how we respond matters. Jesus is invited, first 14 verses, that's 1 to 14, Jesus is invited to dine at the house of a Pharisee. There he heals a man on the Sabbath, challenges their legalism, teaches about humility. He tells them, don't take the highest place, choose the lowest. Those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Then he shifts the focus. Instead of inviting people who can repay you, invite the poor, the crippled, the blind, because the true love expects nothing in return. Jesus himself lived this way. He humbled himself, he served the broken, he loved without expecting repayment. God honors humility and selfless love, not pride or performance. Verses 15 to 24, Jesus tells a parable about a great feast. Many are invited, but they make excuses. One is busy with work, another with possession, another with personal life. They reject the invitation. So the master says, go out and quickly bring the poor and the crippled and the blind and the lame. And when there is still room, go out to the highways and compel them to come in. This is a picture of the gospel. God invites everyone into the kingdom, but many reject him because of distractions. Jesus opens the door to those who feel unworthy. God's invitation is open, but we must ignore or delay our response. Our response matters, right? What are some of the key takeaways? Humility positions us for God's honor. True love gives without expecting in return. Distractions can keep us from God's calling, and God invites the unlikely into his kingdom. I want to close by encouraging you that these 24 verses ask us two important questions. Are we walking with humility, or are we responding to God's invitation? The invitation is still open today. Don't let excuses, busyness, or pride hold us back. And we need to come to Jesus, take our place in his table, and live a life that reflects his heart. So I want to leave you with that. Have a blessed day, and God bless each one of you.